Welcome, everyone. Tonight, Paige, have you blown into your breathalyzer tonight?
I have not yet.
I'm going to balance the scales. So.
Oh,
okay,
all right.
I like that. That's fair.
Yeah.
I as a moderator, I approve of that equity.
I just want everything to be fair.
Dude,
No,
Fireball, I'm drinking rosé. I don't know how fair that is.
I'm a professional.
So why are we here? We're here because some random drunk chick that I've never heard of decided to call me out for blindly being in favor of the police, in spite of the fact that she seems unfamiliar with my body of work. If she had actually seen my channel, she would have seen this. This is a video I made where I was criticizing police who illegally arrested 2 lawyers who were just doing their job and defending their client. If she had watched my channel before making a run at me, she may have also seen this. This is a video that I made about an out-of-control cop in my hometown who pepper sprayed an army officer. That cop is now fired and is being sued for $1 million, and I hope he loses. But I'm not perfect. I made a video once where I was wrong about the police. What did I do? I held a live stream the next week with my lawyer friends, and I took my medicine. Would a police fanboy do that? And would a police sycophant hold a 3-hour and 13-minute live stream entitled, "Why You Should Never Talk to Cops"? My suggestion would be to check the facts before you make statements in the future. If you don't, you're no better than a flat earther who says the horizon is always at eye level because they never checked, and frauditors who cite Poster 7 without actually reading it. But let's say none of those videos were on my channel. Let's pretend that I've never said anything critical of police and I only criticize frauditors. You are still not justified in saying I love cops. If I had a YouTube channel that was solely about lions, that doesn't mean that I hate zebras. It's a failure of logic. I don't know how you're going to get out of this hole that you've dug for yourself, but you have the floor. I yield the remainder of my time.
So yeah, I'm random drunk girl. My name is Paige. I don't defend frauditors. I don't think a lot of what they do is beneficial in any way. But I do think that the government, and the police especially, are out of control, and that accountability is important. Some people call me a cop hater. I don't hate cops. I hate bad cops. I hate that for decades there's been a lack of accountability in policing. The only reason it's starting to change is that everyone has a camera now, and it's brought a lot of horrific police practices to the light. I'm glad it's starting to change. Some cops are being held accountable, but we're far from where we need to be. Police brutality is still rampant. Police officers continue to show that they believe they are above the law and can just do whatever they want without consequences. We're not here today to talk about police brutality. We can do that another day. We are here today to discuss, or I'm here today to discuss with Schrodinger the ways in which I believe him to be myopic in his defense of the police in certain situations. I have clips of these certain situations where I believe Schrodinger's defense of police in these certain situations is incorrect. That's my goal here today, to point out what I mean when I say that he blindly follows the police, or not follows them, but defends them. But I do like that you have those 3 videos. I didn't bring up that one where Natalie lawyer chick, where you went on there and then apologized for that. So I think that's great. I still think you have a long way to go, as far as your interpretation of the law and in the way you defend the police in a lot of these situations. So that's what I'm here to talk about. Thank you.
You are making the affirmative claim that I support cops blindly, so it's your burden of proof.
Sure. Can we play the clip called "An Idiot Gets Arrested Helmet"?
What could possibly be more cliche than being arrested at Walmart? What's even more embarrassing is that he didn't need to be arrested. He did it to himself by acting like a child. And to make it worse, he was being followed by this manager, who asked him repeatedly to take off his helmet.
You want to stop it here and talk about some specific points?
Sure.
You made some claims there. If we didn't watch the end of the video, but you claimed that the reason he got arrested is because he was acting like a child. You also
Correct.
claimed that he was being intentionally difficult, which is not true, and that he was obviously faking the fact that he couldn't hear the manager following him. The guy had a freaking motorcycle helmet on with music playing inside. So, I mean, it's certainly not the case. And I can show you this video from a different lens also. So he ends up getting arrested for disorderly conduct after that initial piece of shit officer who's telling him to take his head out of his ass when he was simply trying to explain himself. And you applauded the way that officer spoke to him. He was very unprofessional. He escalated the situation. That's my point. You were defending that one officer. You want to start there?
First,
Okay.
like I said, I ride motorcycles. I own motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
I have never went into a store with my helmet on. I've never seen anybody inside a store with a helmet on. The manager was standing right in front of him, speaking to him. He may not have heard him, but he said that he saw him speaking. Even a stupid person should know that you're gonna raise some red flags walking around in a store dressed like he was with the motorcycle helmet on. And let's not forget what happened 3 days before this incident. Yeah, there was a mass shooting at a Walmart. Of course, the cops were amped up because of the situation that just happened 3 days before. And I heard the one officer say there was another shooting at Walmart in the recent past. So yeah, he got in his face. The kid was being argumentative. He was arrested for acting like a child. And then he said, and you're trespassed. Here's the trespass paperwork from the Walmart. And then he pretended like he couldn't hear them anymore. And then they asked the manager again, how many times did you ask him to leave? That's when they arrested him.
They didn't give him tickets. I've seen the whole video, the whole body cams from all three officers. There were no tickets.
Sure?
Hold it.
See him acting like a child?
Tell me how old you are.
No.
Tell me how old you are.
They told
Okay,
him
you're
not
acting
to
like a little
speak.
child.
Right.
That he needs
And
to
then-
listen and not speak.
And then asked him a
That's
direct
what
question.
he's doing now.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
acting like a
that's
child.
ridiculous.
That
Okay.
is.
Yeah,
you
that's
saying
what
that-
the police officer said. You're acting like a child. Okay, sure. He's not
Yeah.
acting like a child. He's acting like someone who is being berated by 3 police officers for shopping at Walmart.
He was not being berated for shopping at Walmart, for fuck's sake. So if he hadn't done that, do you think they would have still arrested him? Cops have discretion in a lot of situations to arrest or not arrest. In this situation, they were going to let him go with the trespass notice.
When you're in detention, you have the right to not speak, right? That's your Fifth Amendment. You don't
No.
have to speak.
No,
Absolutely.
When you're under arrest.
Absolutely. No.
Okay. You're wrong, but
You're wrong. When you're in detention, any sort of detention, you have the right to not speak.
and he
to
didn't
invoke your
assert,
Fifth Amendment.
he didn't assert his right to not speak anyway. He pretended like he couldn't speak.
They're doing him dirty.
I'm asking you.
I heard your question. Do I
you
think they would have arrested? I think that they were trying to find any reason to arrest him. So yeah, those cops were obviously, wanting to arrest him for something. Yeah.
They could have arrested him for trespass from the start.
The store manager is full of shit, by the way, too. And they're telling you to leave, but you have no idea that they're around?
So when the manager walked up to him directly from the front and was speaking to him, that's not making contact.
Show me where he went up. No, that never happened.
Shortly after entering the store,
Right there.
Mr. Fendler
Right in
was
front of him,
briefly
okay.
approached by one of the managers, but Mr. Fendler fails to acknowledge their presence and continues walking.
There you
the
go, that's
manager
it.
stalls for a moment.
Okay.
and
It's not when the guy didn't see him or know that he was talking to him.
He said that he saw him and saw him talking.
It's good policing.
3 days removed from a mass shooting inside a Walmart. Yes.
Did you realize that all the charges against him got dismissed and he has a lawsuit against the city?
Yes. And this was a couple of years ago. The lawsuit still has not
That's true.
been resolved.
know.
And dismissed charges mean absolutely nothing as to whether or not the arrest was legit or not. District attorneys constantly dismiss charges when the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
I've heard you say that you don't believe that profanity displayed for everyone else to see is okay, right? It may be legal, but you don't think it's okay. right? It's not moral. Like, we shouldn't do it.
You know what?
Maybe leave.
It's not a question of morality. It's a question of just not being a piece of shit human being.
To be critical of City Hall, expressing my free speech right to be critical of government.
Well, what, anything in particular?
No, not really.
Well, isn't that kind of a vulgar way of doing it?
It sure is. What do I need to do?
You can't just stand out here with the sign like this. You have to get like a, what is it, a petition?
You have a outdoor permit from the city clerk.
Can you go ahead and go in there and get one for me?
Sure, you can do it. Just go in.
So he's supposed to bring him the permit?
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'd rather
Permit
not do that.
delivery
I'm just gonna
service?
stand out. This is the most basic, fundamental, and well-established right that we as Americans have. So you're threatening to have me locked up if you're lieutenant?
I'm not threatening anything. I'm just telling you what can happen due to you expressing.
What is your lieutenant's name? What is your lieutenant's name?
I don't have to tell you that.
I'd just like to know so I could talk to him too, or she.
Well, she's going to call him and talk to him, and then if it goes further, you can talk to him then.
Okay.
I'll get him to come over here.
That'd be great. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll meet him, talk to him in person. I'm out here and harass a person for
I
free
haven't
speech.
harassed you. I just came out and talked to you. If that's harassment,
It seems
are
like
you
it.
so fragile
Are
that
you-
that's harassment? I think it's vulgar. I think it's low class. I'm very disappointed somebody would do that.
Listen to me. You're the city manager. Tell these guys to stand down and back off.
I will tell they will follow the law, the city ordinances,
Okay.
and I don't interfere with that.
What's going on?
I just talked with my lieutenant,
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
told him that you were out here having a great debate with our city mayor. And he told me we're not finna have that kind of stuff go on in the city of Moultrie. So you put your sign down, turn around, and place your hands.
Okay, I'll
behind
leave
your
then.
back. No, you're gonna place your hands behind your back. You're being locked up for disorderly conduct.
For disorderly conduct?
Yes, place your
Okay.
hands behind your back.
All right.
If we can't do it the right way, we'll do it our way.
What do you think, Schrodinger?
I think that your argument isn't with the police; it's with the local municipal legislation that says that you have to have a permit if you're going to organize a protest.
No, you can't. There's no way. You can never require a permit to peacefully assemble.
Are you sure?
Really?
Yeah. Well,
The Supreme
All right.
Court has upheld that you can.
somehow the Supreme Court says that's right. You got to get a permit. Fine. Okay. How do you feel about that if that's the truth?
Well, how I feel is irrelevant. But what I will say is if he can stand on that sidewalk and that's legal without a permit, then everybody can stand on that sidewalk with a
Absolutely.
sign. So what if everybody does it? Now, should that require a permit? What if 10,000 people wanted to stand on that sidewalk
Well,
with their signs?
Usually you can't block the sidewalk, right? So if you're standing, on the side of a sidewalk, people still have to be able to pass. So if there's 10,000 people that's going to stand on a sidewalk, I could probably say that, yeah, maybe, something needs to be done about that because the sidewalk's going to be blocked. If he had a sign that said, "I don't like City Hall," they wouldn't have come out, right?
That's irrelevant. Would he have been arrested if he had gone into that building where he literally was at the building and gone to the second floor, like the man said, and got the permit and stood out there with his sign? Would he have been arrested?
I think that they were incorrect in saying that he needed a permit to stand there with the sign.
So
Is my
the
opinion.
cop who said he needed a permit, the city manager who said he needed a permit, the lieutenant that she called said he needed a permit, even though the Supreme Court has upheld that it is constitutional for municipalities to require permits for protests.
For any protest?
Are you buffering?
I am?
No, I meant mentally.
Yes, I'm mentally buffering. Thank you. So are we going to start insulting each other now, or are we just going to continue? To
Oh,
debate?
I think that's in the next phase of the debate. I'm sorry. Well, we're not there yet.
Oh, are you planning on insulting me, like you did the last couple times?
We'll see how it goes.
That if a person wants to stand on a public sidewalk with a sign that it's okay for municipalities to make laws that require a permit to do it,
He could have gone to the second floor, like the city manager said,
and
gotten
pay
the
money,
permit.
and pay money to stand on the sidewalk to protest. That's what you think is okay? You think that's
Well,
okay?
if he's willing to stand there on July 3rd in the South, I believe it was in the South.
Yeah.
That's already pretty. He's pretty invested in holding that sign that says "fuck City Hall." I don't think a $5 permit would be a deal breaker. My question was, if he got the permit, do you think they would have arrested him or could have arrested him?
I think they would not have issued the permit for him who had a sign that said "fuck City Hall."
Now
They would
who's
never
making
give him a
stuff up
permit.
and making conjectures?
Well, you asked me my opinion. Excuse me, you asked
he
me
asked
my
you a
opinion.
specific question.
Do you think? The answer was no. I don't think they would have even issued him a permit.
That's not an answer to
That's
the
not
question.
the question that he asked, Paige. What he asked you
What's
is, do you
the
think that if
question?
he had gotten the permit, he asked you if you had gotten the permit, do you think that he would have been arrested?
Saying they wouldn't give him one's not an answer. Magically, he had a permit.
Okay.
Could they and would they have arrested him?
I don't know.
Radical's here to help.
Tech support.
Jody Fox for $2 says, I see the alcohol is kicked in.
Oh no. Stop, people.
Me or him?
I don't know.
Mm.
Pick one. Agent of the Matrix for $2 says, get Artie, OPT, or Natalie for law input.
See,
Hank-
here's the thing. When I have these sort of questions, I have almost immediate access to all three of them, and I ask these questions constantly, especially when I'm making a video and I'm about to make an assertion. I run it by them first. So it's going to be pretty tough to catch me saying something that's not right, because if there's any question in my mind, I ask them ahead of time.
Well, you obviously didn't before you posted that video, and then Natalie Lerchick told you were wrong.
Right. And again, what happened? What did I do when
Okay, well, I'm just saying, so maybe, you didn't do it that time.
Everybody makes mistakes. Come on.
True. Sure.
And I could have just taken the video down or just ignored people. There's lots of different ways that I could have gotten around calling myself out.
All right.
That live stream was my idea.
I would like to then switch gears to the same guy with a different sign, and I wanted to get your opinion.
The dummy at the library?
Yep.
I can't believe you picked this one.
I know you don't like it when there's vulgarities, right? So that's why I went with that one first. This one just has no vulgarity.
Are you ready?
Irrelevant.
How is that irrelevant?
Are you ready?
Well-
I'll explain as the moderator why that's irrelevant, because the profanity is not the question here, right? Like,
Right.
like Paige, I'm gonna do you a solid, because I'm assuming you probably don't do a lot of debates, right? Which is like a lot of people don't. But like, if you're making a point, then you need to argue that point. Like what you're doing right now is just veering off into all sorts of different directions. You kind of look like a fish flopping out of water here. Like, you've made an initial assertion, right? Vulgarity is irrelevant to it. What he feels is irrelevant to the facts, right? Whether he likes vulgarity and doesn't, that's irrelevant to the facts.
And to say I don't like vulgarity is kind of weird, because I was a sailor. The F word is like in the top 10 words I use on a daily basis.
And bitch when he's talking to me. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, bitch.
How you doing? God bless the homeless.
All right, pause. I want to make a point. So this is why I wondered why you use this, because it's devastating to your argument. Because when he was on the sidewalk with the "fuck City Hall" sign, he got sent away. Now he has a sign.
No, he got arrested.
Well, yeah, they took him away. It was an assisted sent away. So now he has a sign that says "God bless the homeless," which nobody really objects to. And guess what? He gets sent away.
Yeah, exactly. My point.
Because he's getting trespassed because they don't want him there. They explain it to him.
Because why?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? So you can just trespass anyone from public property just because you feel like
It's
it?
not public property.
A library is absolutely public property.
Okay, this is my debate, Tina.
I'm sorry.
They come out and tell him that an alternate place that he can stand farther away from the door. He doesn't do it. The manager or whoever is in charge of this public building has an absolute right to trespass people. The purpose of public library is not to stand in front of it and protest. So they didn't want him there. Why? Doesn't matter. They have the absolute right to trespass him.
So they have the absolute right to trespass anyone that's not creating a disturbance, that's just exercising their right to free speech and a public building. You think that's okay? They can just trespass whoever they want, right? It's like, we might as well be in China. I don't want you here. You can't say what you want. You can't. Yeah, I'm telling you to stand over there and you just listen because I told you so. I mean, is that what kind of country you want?
That's what kind of country we have, lady. I would prefer, if I'm going to the library, to not have idiot First Amendment auditors standing outside. If I'm taking my kid to pick out a book about dinosaurs, what's his point? Is his point to say God bless the homeless, or is it his point to make a YouTube video to try to make some sort of political point? He's doing
it's about free speech. It's about free speech on public property. Absolutely.
So what his sign says is irrelevant.
The reaction is necessary because a lot of times when people do that, they don't get a bad reaction. They don't get a negative reaction. And that's what we want. We want our constitutional rights to be upheld. It's like one time I went to Walmart with my child and she did something silly and my dad was like, don't do that. She's like, why not? Well, what if everyone did that? I mean,
that's a legit question.
Yeah, it sounds like communism to me. But anyway, let's go.
I don't think you know what communism means.
Communism, you don't have redress. You can't redress your government. You can't talk about things you dislike about your government, right?
No.
No?
Communism's an economic system.
All right. Well,
I'm sorry you didn't know that.
In a communist country, do you think people are allowed to redress their government?
It depends on which communist country it is. Like I said, communism is silent on the rights of the people other than when it comes to economics.
Because that means you could just trespass anyone for anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, there may be consequences for that, but this guy is not there for library business. Don't let that point get lost on you. He's not there doing library business. He's there doing a protest. They don't want him there protesting, so they have him trespassed.
No, they're assuming that he's asking for money.
And then they told him, if you want to hold that sign out here, please be, I think they said 15 feet away from the door.
Yeah, why? So, that's not a law. There's no law.
It doesn't have to be the law. They can trespass
so we just make up whatever we want then. Go stand over there by that tree because I said so.
How are you not understanding this?
You can't be collecting money.
I understand.
Okay. This is security at the library. I have a gentleman that's outside of asking to leave approximately 3.
Are you at the main library?
At the main library, I'm sorry. And let me take this mask off my face. And he refused to leave. He has a sign saying, please help the homeless.
Okay. Is he in the lobby?
Yes, he's on the outside.
White, black, or Hispanic?
White male, black shirt, blue pants. He's standing outside with a sign on. He refused when I give him a verbal order. So if he could send someone over, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay. You want him trespassed?
Yes.
All right, sir. Can I get your name?
Nate Jackson.
We're going to get an officer out over there, okay?
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Say your ID handy?
I don't have my ID.
No? What's your name?
So he just lied.
Well, yeah, I'm
what?
trespassing you, so
He just lied. He said he doesn't have an ID, but then he gives the cop his ID later, so he's lying.
No, he doesn't. What the fuck are you talking about? He pulls out a fucking I and a D letters.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Never mind.
Oh, that's this guy?
Nope. I was wrong. Yeah, he does. He pretends to show him an ID, but it's some silly juvenile joke.
Yeah.
They do identify him as evidenced by the trespass.
They identify him because he does this all around and they know who he is.
Lawful purpose.
What's the lawful purpose?
That they want you trespassed from this property. They've asked you to
pause that
move
for a
over there,
second.
and you
What's the lawful purpose? They want you trespassed.
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to tell you for 30 minutes.
It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. They just want you trespassed.
But
anyway,
they were willing to work with him. He said you can stand over there and hold your sign to your heart's content. They were going to meet him halfway and say, you can stay here, just please stand there instead of in front of the door. And he said no. So guess what? You get, instead of getting met halfway, you get trespassed. They have the right to trespass him.
Okay.
Pretty cut and dry. He got trespassed because he was at the library not doing library business, and they, for whatever reason, didn't want him to do that, and they have the absolute right to trespass him. I mean, honestly, you have not met your burden of proof at all tonight so far.
Oh, that you defend police? Yeah, you're right. I sort of went off track. I think it was more important for me to sort of get these videos out there that I feel like are important for people to see, that there are actual auditors, First Amendment defenders out there that aren't, harassing people, that aren't going to fucking post offices and all that fucking bullshit, that stupid frauditor shit, that aren't, recording people's fucking VIN numbers and shit to create reactions. I think maybe that really was my goal. And
So you're here under false pretense.
no, I didn't. Obviously, I was drunk last time, and you've purported that at least 3 times, and you made the cover of this video me laying on the ground with beer bottles all around.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was kind of funny. I'll give you that.
Your initial assertion, which is the reason why we're here, is that I blindly follow police. I dismantled that in my opening. And you didn't really recover. So I think it's safe to move to audience questions. Can you tell me any auditor who has 4 videos criticizing auditors or supporting cops? So your answer is no.
I'm not talking about auditors.
If you're a frauditor, I mean, debating me is one thing. Don't debate a lawyer. You're going to lose. You're going to lose bad. None of these people will come on. So props to you, Paige, because they are cowards.
Yeah,
they will use copyright strikes against my videos, but they won't come on here and go head to head with me in the free speech arena for the free speech that they think so highly of.
Okay, so Paige.
Yeah.
Judy Lippman would like to know if you think all rights are absolute.
All rights? I think
that's a good question.
I think all rights in the Constitution are absolute. The right to free speech is absolute. Yeah.
Can I commit slander?
No, absolutely not. So there are restrictions, sure.
So it's not absolute.
Okay, well, it's not. All right.
So Sean Zeke asks, that situation in Georgia, Gray is from Florida, therefore he was trespassing, could not get a permit if he tried. Do you support, Paige, the idea to go to other states to protest?
Of course. This is the United States.
Yeah, I kind of agree. You can go to other states to protest. I got no issue with that.
From Matt Bond, why do auditors and solicitors think the Constitution comes with no limitations?
Because they haven't thought it through.
Paige, if all rights are absolute, can the courts take away convicted felons' ability to own a firearm?
Here's the thing with me and guns. I used to hate them. I used to say nobody should have a gun. We need to have all sorts of regulations on all guns. And then I realized that then what you're left with is the police with guns and you without one. So,
focus on the question, though.
Sorry, what?
If you think that rights are absolute, can convicted felons be stripped of their right to own firearms?
I haven't thought about that, really. I haven't thought about the Constitution or the Bill of Rights in absolutes. I honestly haven't.
And that's intellectually honest of you to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have thought about this question extensively, and I think that nonviolent felons should not be stripped of their right to own firearms. Violent offenders should, and they should be able to petition to regain that right after they've met certain requirements. Maybe it's like 10 years after they're released. If they haven't reoffended, then they can be granted that right back.
Is it the police you have a problem with, or the laws themselves, like trespassing laws?
No, I mostly I have a problem with the way that the police feel like they can just do whatever they want, charge you with whatever, take you into jail.
Pure Chaos 2000 says, ask Paige if she thinks it is okay for someone to hold a F your mama sign on a sidewalk in front of children or a sidewalk in front of a school.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. That's a tough one.
It's called public indecency. It's a law in most municipalities. Yep. She's way too drunk to make death threats. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again in the future, I'm sure. Your right to swing your fist ends at the tip of my nose. Paige, any final words before we get out of here?
Yeah, again, I appreciate you I appreciate you letting me on here. I think we actually did have an intelligent discussion, even though I think you were probably thinking that this was going to be a shit show. And it turned out to be, I think, a productive discussion, and I appreciate that.
Other Cliff, you got anything?
No, I'd just like to say thanks for having me once again, and thanks everyone for your super chat. Love you all. Have a great night.
I don't have much else. I did a whole lot of talking here. I think I said everything I need to say. Yeah, Paige, good talk.
Yeah, I
you exceeded my expectations.